The Mann-Simons Site is a historic site that was home to the Mann-Simons families. It was bought originally by Ben Delane and his wife Celia Mann sometime in the 1840s, and this would have been something that was unusual for that time because Ben and Celia had been born into slavery. They were born into slavery in Charleston, and we believe that Ben first got his freedom and then bought Celia, his wife, and gave her her freedom, and that they came up here to Columbia. So being able to purchase property for former enslaved people was something that was very rare, and then Celia Mann and her descendants were able to keep it in their family for the next 125 years after that. It was mostly the descendants of Celia Mann, and it was passed down through her descendants for about 125 years. Celia Mann had 4 daughters, and one of those daughters, Agnes, took on ownership of the house after her mother had passed away. And during their years here, they were really industrious in the different jobs that they had and the different ways that they were making a living. Celia Mann was a midwife. Her daughter Agnes was listed with several different professions, and then Agnes's sons, John Lucius and Charles, were both running the site at times, and John Lucius was running a lunch counter on the site, and Charles was a tailor. Then Charles's adopted niece, Bernice, lived in the site up until the 1960s, and she was a teacher. So throughout the years, one of the best things about the site is seeing all of the different uses that it had. It wasn't just a house, it was also a property where there were a variety of different stores. There was rental property, there was an outhouse here. There were just a lot of different things that came and went over the years, and a lot of different ways the property was used. I think that when you're walking through the hallway of the Mann-Simons house, walking through the rooms of the Mann-Simons house and the surrounding property, you really get a great view for all of the things that this African-American family went through. And it is a sort of a full spectrum of the life of African-Americans here in Columbia. People who were born into slavery, who were able to get their freedom and to maintain that freedom and to have a successful and prosperous household here for many more years to come. We get to follow the path of Reconstruction and into the Jim Crow era and the Civil Rights movement, and really get to see all of these things that have changed and shaped our community and this household. Being here in the house, you really get a sense of the struggles they would have been through, the hardships they were through, but also the times that they were prospering and how successful they were. On the site itself, you get to see all of these ghost structures that represent the multiple buildings that would have been here, the different campaigns and efforts and ways that they were always willing to reinvent themselves to be able to have a successful community here and a successful property for the family.